Stripe with Ed Kirkwood on Next Level.
Big thanks to Sean Nguanzo, who's from the Red Cross Blood Service, talking about restrictions around gay men donating blood. This afternoon, as I said, we've been talking about the current policy, which has a 12-month deferral period. The laws were put in place during the height of the AIDS epidemic around 30 years ago. There have been calls from the Green senators in New South Wales, Robert Sims in particular, to change the deferral period in order to end the discrimination and alleged stigma against gay men. My next guest is an unusual case. He's a gay man, and he has a condition where he needs to therapeutically donate blood. To explain what it is, we've got him on the line. Robert Eadie, thanks so much for coming on. What's the condition, and describe what you experience because of it?
Ed, it's a rather common condition, and it's called Haemochromatosis. And what it is it means you have every bit of iron that you take into your body through eating and nutrition stays in your body. And over time, it just accumulates, particularly in your liver. And if left undiagnosed, it can cause quite serious problems with your liver. But as I said, it is probably more common than many people think. And the symptoms of it are fairly latent or fairly quiet until perhaps they can start showing problems in later life. And mine was only diagnosed through kind of a routine blood test for other reasons. And my GP at the time thought I might have low levels of iron, but it was actually quite the contrary. So that's when I started having to give therapeutic donations.
We'll get to the therapeutic donations in a minute, but did you, prior to being diagnosed by your doctor, did you experience any sort of medical symptoms or anything like that made you think, oh, hang on, there's something not right here?
No, I didn't, because the medical condition that I was seeing my doctor for previously, the symptoms were quite similar. So, things like fatigue. Now, lots of people get fatigue for all kinds of reasons. It can be symptomatic of a lot of different things, and it's only a specific iron test that they do on your blood that can isolate what it is. So it's and it is hereditary in your family. It's not something it's not a disease as such. It's something hereditary. So if you have a family history of it, I would seriously recommend that you go and get your blood tested for, and you ask for an iron study done. Just don't ask for a blood test, because a general blood test won't identify it.
Yeah, right. And what happens if it goes untreated?
Well, as I said, every bit of iron you put into your body stays there, and that doesn't mean you put on enormous amounts of weight because it's iron, but it can cause liver problems. And now about every 4 months, I have my liver gets examined to make sure that that it's all in order. Even though, therapeutic donation is basically you donate the same amount of blood that a regular person would, which I think is half a litre. But depending on what the iron content is in your blood, you can have a therapeutic donation every 2 weeks, which is what I did for about the first 6 months. Which sounds like a hell of a lot of blood that you're letting go. But once they get those iron levels down, then they just call it maintenance. You just have to go. It can be as infrequent as every 3 months.
So you pretty much donate blood. You have to donate blood quite regularly.
Well, as I said, for the first 6 months, it was every 2 weeks. If you're a regular blood donor, you're only allowed to do it once every 3 months.
So. Sorry, no, because we're just talking to Sean from the Red Cross Blood Service. Now, because you're gay, does that mean that your blood can't be used for transfusions and that sort of stuff? So what happens to it?
Goes down the sink.
It literally just gets poured out?
Oh, well, I don't know. I can't say I saw them pouring it down the sink. But
right, but it goes unused.
They say the nurse that does the venesection for you just says, your blood will just be discarded. And they're almost apologetic when every time you go in to have a venesection, they put you through the same paperwork as they would as if you were a regular blood donor. even though they know they're going to discard it, they just say this is the process we have to follow. So they're quite apologetic about it, but it means it can add on, and particularly because you're a gay man, and the reason and the fact that I'm having a therapeutic donation, it can add on about another 20 minutes to the actual process, or sometimes half an hour. I've been doing it for a couple of years now, and you go to the same centre and you see the same people, but they put you through the same paperwork every single time, and your blood's just going to be discarded. So it's almost like, why do they put people through all this process all the time if it's not going to be used?
Robert Eadie is here. He's got haemochromatosis, which is pretty much a build-up of excess iron in the blood, and because he's gay, it means that they can't actually use the blood for transfusions or for donations. As you rightly put it, Robert, it just pretty much goes down the sink. They can't really do anything with it.
No. And the explanation was that it's just a precaution, I don't mind. It's more the process that I have to go through every time I go in there, where you sit down and you go through an interview situation, and they ask you the same question that I had it in the beginning for the first 6 months. I had it every 2 weeks, and it was the same list of questions, the same answers, and then they just discard it anyway. So you think, well, what is the point of all this? You know who I am. You know what I'm here for. Just bleed me, because that's all it is. I'm being bled, and the blood just gets discarded.
What's your take on the 12-month deferral? It seems like without something like that, you could be quite a great candidate for a blood donor. What's your take on the 12-month deferral system that we have in place at the moment?
Well, I'm going there for my own health reasons. It would be nice to know that the fact that I'm donating litres and litres of blood, or I shouldn't say donating, I'm letting litres and litres of blood. It'd be nice to know that it could go to some useful purpose. Because I know all blood is screened anyway before it can be used for medical purposes. It just seems a bit wasteful.
Well, it does, and that's what I put to Sean Nguanzos from the Red Cross Blood Service. I said, well, if all blood is tested anyway, shouldn't you just take the blood, see if it can be used? If not, okay, fine, discard it. If it can be used, well, that you've got a pretty good regular donor coming to you all the time.
Yes. So I'm not going to challenge them on it. I'm doing it for my own health reasons. Something you just have to live with for the rest of your life. Now, once your iron levels get down to an acceptable level, that when I was first diagnosed, I don't know what the measure is of, but my measure was 1,300 parts of something, and a regular person's is 300. So.
Oh wow. Yeah, so it's over 4 times. Well up into almost the danger level, and up until then I had no symptoms. But they said you could have lived for the rest of your life and nothing could have happened. But on the other hand, because of your age, because I'm in the late 50s, you could have started getting liver problems very quickly. So. All right. Well, Robert, thanks so much for sharing your story with us. It's really, really lovely of you to come on and have a chat with us.
Not a problem.
Thank you. Robert Eadie there, he suffers from haemochromatosis, a condition that pretty much means that he has a big build-up of iron in his blood, and because he's gay, it means that to get rid of the iron, he literally has to let blood out, and because he's gay, it means that he can't actually donate it, and it can't be used for anything, for donations or transfusions or anything like that.
Drive with Ed Kirkwood on Next Level.